In the world that we live in today, Jews are scared. And I speak to you not just as a congressman, but as a father of two Jewish boys. They're 17 and they are 13 years old. I also speak to you as an alum of Harvard. And I've got to go back and check the data that said in the 90s, 1 in 3 professors were conservative, because I certainly didn't see them anywhere when I was there. But I will tell you, as a Jewish conservative at Harvard in the 90s, despite the fact they tried to kick me out twice, I never felt unsafe as a Jewish student, never once. Sometimes felt persecuted because of my political views, but never, ever, not once in 4 years, 6 years actually, because I went there twice, did I ever feel unsafe. But students do now. And I wear this kippah now. It's a new habit of mine at my son's request because of all the students who don't feel safe wearing theirs. And with my 17-year-old, when he was born, actually 17 years ago, I had a dream that he would follow me to where I went to school. And now we're in the next few weeks where it's time for him to start thinking about where he's going to apply to college. And I don't know that I even think he should go to college at all in the days that we live in, So my question to you is this. Given that Jews are scared, there are things that we can do on our college campuses. And I thank you for what you are doing. But I believe that a lot of this problem is coming from foreign influence, that our universities are taking money from countries that do not share our values and do not like our politics and do not like our people. And those dollars come at a price. What they do is they don't just give a donation. They say, hey, we're going to endow a school. We're going to endow professorship. We want you to take our students and from other countries. And what are things that we can do to work together so that countries like China or Qatar, which are clearly not looking out for the interests of Americans, that we can get that under control in our higher education system?
Well, thank you for that. And I'm glad that you felt safe, because there are clearly so many students now who do not feel safe. And I have talked to them, and they've told me no child going to college or any school today should feel unsafe in the environment of their education. So I regret that. But what we are actually doing is we've reaffirmed the Section 117 compliance from universities. They must tell us. They're already required to report this, and they're not. So we're requiring them to report donors' amounts, because we want to make sure there's not foreign influence, with that. The Deterrent Act is for a purpose.
Well, I'd like to.
That's really what we are supporting.
Well, I'd like to work with you, because even if you look at places like Columbia, it's generally not the physics department where we see the problems. It's not generally in what I'll call real degrees. It's in this creation of what I'll call pre-Starbucks employment degrees, like gender studies and these other silly things where you can't actually get a job, which are really nothing more than factories to create people to go and protest, where we have these things. And so I'd like to work with you on that. And I also want to ask you this. We subsidize these degrees. The idea that these schools walk around and say they're private really is false, because they couldn't operate without the beneficiary of the United States government. So does it make sense perhaps for us to look at the ideas of saying, if you want to get a student loan to go to the college in the United States, you've got to go get a degree in something where you actually might be able to do something useful when you're done with it?
Well, I think that's one of the things when I was discussing before, that I would like to see colleges and universities have more skin in the game. Because if they have more skin in the game, I think that they're going to make sure that the subjects and the degrees that they are offering are going to provide diplomas and pathways to employment, in which those students are going to be able to repay their loans, because if they're on the hook for part of that money, they're not going to want to have to pay it if that student is not successful.